Why, when, what, how, those kind of questions. And so growing up, I would ask a question, and my dad and my mom would encourage me, okay, go find it out. And so growing up, I always tried to find things out. Now, a little bit of background, everyone in my family is an engineer, with the exception of my dad and my mom. We're all engineers. So I'm 5 of 7. So at that point, I knew what I was going to do. So that's what drew me into this field. I wanted to work in the laboratory. I wanted to find out more information. I have a heart of technology. I want to know why, how, and how can I improve it. And so that drew me to this field. And now in my line of work, it gives me the ability to look into the application space and have even more whys and what can I do to make it better for people. And so that's why I'm here today. The knowledge that I'm going to develop the minds of my students or work towards developing research that will benefit the end user. A lot of my research, applied research, I do have fundamental research where I work to understand the materials at the fundamental level. But the time of my research are applied research, and so my work is to benefit an end user. And in this case, most of my work is for the DoD, and so my research benefits the DoD components. When I was a graduate student, my research was on such a small scale, I didn't really understand what the application space is. I wanted to make a difference, but I didn't understand how much that component would make a difference. Now, when I hear of the issues and the challenges that we face in my area, I'm really happy to see how much difference my research is making. So that alone is what actually is the driving force behind all the research. This is how I explain my work to my 6-year-old, so I think it works both ways, is we have to understand the transition of technology. Growing up, our telephone system was a dial, you phone, you dial, and that's all you do with the phone. And then it moved to a large phone to get the signals, but this wasn't a dial phone. And now we can do everything on the phone. So we make the materials that enable you to go from that big desktop phone into that little phone that you have nowadays. That is part of what I do. Understanding the material that will reduce the size, weight, and costs of the technology and benefits the user. Well, first of all, we don't have to run home every time we need to use a telephone. That is one difference. But most of my work, I cannot talk about it right now. However, the ones that I can talk about enables us to be able to communicate effectively no matter where we are. And that is a huge difference. You don't have to look for a payphone every time you're outside to get an Uber to go home. You don't have to run to the nearest restaurant to call your parents to pick you up. And the work that we do and technology, we do not only achieve that, but also a driving force towards protecting our armed forces when they are abroad as well. Never take no. Never take no for an answer. You can do it. It doesn't mean because someone has not done it, then it's not doable. That is what you should think. Think big. Think big. Again, it doesn't mean because someone has not done it, it is not doable. I don't even have enough time in the day. The great thing about working at Northeastern, and especially at PRI, where I have a lot of hats, is that I get to work with professors, the fundamental researchers. I get to work with small businesses to understand the flow of technology. And then I get to work with the end users and the primes. So working in this environment ensures that I can take my research and put it into the hands where that end user can use it. A lot of people don't have that opportunity. opportunity to do that. They only see the research in such a basic fundamental level that they don't understand how this integrated and how it's going to get to where it's going to get to. In this area and in this place and in this environment at KRI, you get to see that research going into where it's supposed to go to, where it's finally used. And that is amazing. The sky's the limit. I have amazing PhD students, workforce development. We are looking into further development of materials and expanding what we can do here. And so I would say it's refreshing every day you come to work and you pick up something that you can do to help others. Because you see an area that is a challenge, and every day challenges pop up. And so this area, you never get tired. It's never boring. Because one day you're dealing with a material that will reduce heat, the next day you're dealing with a material that will store the heat and you can use it for something else. And so it is really amazing to be able to do that. Oh yes, on time. As a researcher, after going through all the work and months of work of trying to get something to understand material, the first thing you want to do is broadcast it all over the world and say, yes, I have this thing done, please look at it. But working with CRI, I understand how to protect my research and what I can do initially. And so when I have something all done already, when I know that the research is approaching the completion, I get in touch with Sarah and say, okay, I have this thing coming up. What can I do to protect this research? And I've been working with CRI now for over 4 years or something like that. And we have 2 patents with them. And so it is amazing to understand how to protect your research and running around and telling the world what your research is. When you get it, it's really not the best thing.